Hello, and welcome to the next episode of the Kościuszko Foundation Impromptu Series. My name is Martin Labazevitch, and today I have an honor to welcome one of the most prominent Polish pianists of our generation, Ewa Pobłocka. The distinguished Polish pianist and pedagogue Ewa Pobłocka is a graduate of the Academy of Music in Gdańsk and the winner of top awards from piano competitions in Vercelli, Bordeaux, and Warsaw. In 1980, she became the only Polish contestant admitted to the finals at the 10th International Chopin Competition in Warsaw, where she won the 5th prize and a special Polish Radio Award for the best performance of mazurkas. Ewa Pobłocka made her debut on stage at the age of 12, accompanying her mother, a world-renowned soprano, Zofia Janukowicz-Pobłocka. She has performed in almost every European country, as well as in both Americas, China, Indonesia, Vietnam, South Africa, Singapore, South Korea, Japan, and Australia. She has performed in the world's top concert halls in Munich, Hamburg, Madrid, London, St. Petersburg, Paris, Tokyo, Vienna, New York, Toronto, and many others. She has toured numerous times with the Warsaw Philharmonic Orchestra conducted by Kazimierz Kord. She has performed as the soloist with the London Symphony Orchestra, the English Chamber Orchestra, Orchestra del Maggio Musicale Fiorentino, the Polish National Symphony Orchestra in Katowice, Symphonia Varsovia, and many others. Worked with such conductors as Witold Lutosławski, Andrzej Panównik, Kazimierz Kord, Stanisław Skrowaczewski, Jerzy Maksymiuk, or Antoni Witt. In September 1990, she inaugurated the Warsaw Autumn International Festival of Contemporary Music with the first Polish performance of piano concerto by Andrzej Panównik. The following year, she made the first ever recording of the piece with the London Symphony Orchestra under the direction of the composer. She recorded the piano concerto of Witold Lutosławski with the Polish Radio National Symphony under the composer's direction. Her interpretation of the concerto, performed for the composer's 80th birthday, was broadcast live to over 30 radio stations in 27 European countries. Her recordings were enthusiastically praised by the critics, earning her prestigious awards including 2 Fryderyks, the Polish equivalent of American Grammy Awards. Since the year 2000, Ewa Pobłocka has been teaching piano at the Academy of Music in Bydgoszcz. She has also been a juror during the 15th, 17th, and the 18th Chopin International Piano Competitions in Warsaw. Today we have one of the most prominent Polish pianists with us, Miss Ewa Poblocka. Thank you so much for accepting our invitation to appear in our impromptu series of the Kościuszko Foundation.
Thank you. Pleasure for me.
Right away, the first question that I always ask all our interviewees is about their path to the success at the Chopin competition. And I would like to ask you the same question. What was your path to success in the 1980 Chopin competition in Warsaw?
So it was a long story because I started to sing it already in the first class of my grand school. So I was about 6 or 7. And for a long time, I used to say that my life was divided until the Chopin competition and after the Chopin competition.
Koncertami wybitnych pianistów rozpoczęła się w Warszawie ta wielka międzynarodowa impreza muzyczna. Marta Argericz, laureatka pierwszej nagrody konkursu chopinowskiego z 1965 roku, zasiada dziś w jury. Do 10. jubileuszowego konkursu przystąpiło prawie 150 kandydatów z 36 krajów.
Now there are some more points where I could cut the life, but for a long time it was the first 22 years thinking about the Chopin competition. So I remember exactly when I played my first piece of Chopin. It was a waltz in A minor, in Forgotten Waltz, and I loved to play this piece, and I loved to perform it for concerts, and I loved to play it just for my own inspiration. So it was so touching, and I felt that this is kind of my work. So I was playing more and more Chopin pieces. I wanted to learn it. I was listening to many things. I was studying myself because my teachers asked me to play also some other repertoire. So I did it for myself. And I started actually to complete the program in the age of 16, because there for the first time, for example, I played the fourth ballad. It was my first ballad by Chopin, and I kept it until the Chopin competition, and of course, much more later, I was also performing it. So let's say maybe 5 or 6 years I was thinking really very serious about the Chopin competition, playing scherzi and etudes. Etudes, this was always a problem for me actually. In the last minute I decided which one I would play, but I had some more nocturnes and ballads and concerti, because I played at the end of my high school. I played the E minor concerto with orchestra, and I could play it with some orchestras in Poland. And then just before the preliminary national Chopin competition, I decided maybe would be nice to learn also the second concerto. So I played for the preliminary round half a year before the October competition, the F-moll concerto with the orchestra. But then I decided to come back to E minor because it was, let's say, more safe. I had the possibility to perform it with orchestra more often, and it was, as I say, safe, because during the competition actually you don't have time to practice the concerto. The concerto you have to know to switch on during the night from the results of semi-final to the final. So there is no time to practice concertos. I was playing it actually at midnight also, so I could play it really. Also some interesting story with my mazurkas, because of course I was listening to many recordings, but the first live recording which I remember really very strong was the performance of Katarzyna Popowa-Zydroń at her competition 1975, with a competition with Christian Zimmerman. And I came to Warsaw for one of this round, and I could go and listen to her in the hall, and it was really a big inspiration for me, and I decided immediately to learn the Opus 30, and it was my first opus by Chopin. I remember this performance very well, and it was a very important step. I knew some other mazurkas, but not the whole opus. I played separate, maybe the first one and Opus 67, something like that. And then I learned this Opus 30, and then I decided to prepare for Chopin competition Opus 59. But I was studying many of them. I was playing almost the whole book.
And what's so interesting is that right now you are teaching in the same school and you're collaborating with Ms. Popowa-Zydroń.
Yes.
And you got a special prize for mazurkas during the competition.
Yes, it was a surprise, because, you know, at the competition I knew from somebody, somehow I knew that I will have the 5th prize after the finals, where we were standing in the beautiful foyer of the Warsaw Philharmonic, and somebody came and told me, Ewa, you have the 5th. but nobody told me anything about the Mazurka prize. So this was really surprising, and I was so happy. You can see it on many pictures from this moment that I unexpected. I got this prize together with Dank Dai Sam, and we played the same opus 59.
This was a rather peculiar competition because of the stir that Ewa Pogorelich made during the competition. And what Marta Argerich and Nikita Magalov did after the announcement of the finalists, they decided to step down from the jury. What kind of an impact this whole situation had on you? Did it affect you in any way, this whole aura of Ewa Pogorelich and that scandal at the end of the competition?
You know, luckily, my parents were very clever. And I had already before the competition my own flat in Warsaw, without telephone, without radio, without TV. And when I went to my performance, my parents came with me, and I had no chance to see anybody, to speak with anybody. I did not answer any journalist for their questions. I just played and went out. So I did not have any idea what's going on. I just knew some gossip that Ewa Poblocka, who played just after me, he had 1 number plus. Then after the second round, I decided I would like to go to the last balcony in the Warsaw Philharmonic to listen, to hear who is it. But I did not know about the whole atmosphere and so. And I went there. I listened very carefully, and then I came home. And in the evening, again, somehow it was possible for me, maybe by friend's house, now I don't remember, to listen once again to the same performance on the same day. And I was fascinated what he did.
Jego odkrywcze, pełne wyobraźni interpretacje wzbudziły zachwyt publiczności i sprzeciw jurorów, którzy nie dopuścili go do finału. Marta Argerich i Nikita Magalow, nie zgadzając się z werdyktem jury, na znak protestu opuścili obrady i wyjechali z Polski.
Jeżeli nawet komuś nie podoba się jego sposób gry, jego interpretacja utworów Chopina, powinien koniecznie przejść do finału konkursu i móc zagrać z orkiestrą. Ponieważ sam fakt, iż nie gra on w finale, umniejsza rangę, obniża poziom konkursu i to w bardzo poważnym stopniu.
I knew that, well, there is somebody who really plays wonderful. But then in the third round, I did not know anything, and I did not know anything before the finals also. So I was happy during the whole competition not to know what's going on with the whole story.
Everybody that we've talked to has sweet memories and also sour memories.
Well, the sweet one was, of course, the moment of the results.
Okay.
And my feeling on stage at the third stage, at the third round. The mazurkas really, I never played so beautiful like during this performance. And somehow during my performance, I felt that it's not bad. So it made me happy that I could play better. And the better experience was the atmosphere between all of us from the Polish group. Especially after the results of the second round, I came to the Warsaw Philharmonic to warm up before my third stage, and I met few of them. They even did not say hello to me. So it was bitter, and it was very strange for me. And also I knew, or somebody told me that some friends of mine from the Polish group are getting flowers from the audience, for example, and they have really big applause. I did not feel this for me. So I thought when I finish, this rather cold in the audience was rather cold, or with some distance. Maybe it was only my opinion, only my feeling, but somehow I felt this. But this, you know, always when I have some difficulties in my life, I'm trying really to concentrate and to do my best. So it did not break me.
What kind of an impact was this competition on your life?
You know, at this times, once you are the best of Polish pianists in this moment, many doors are open, and it was this situation for me. So I could perform many concerts in Poland. Although I must say that this year, 1980, was very special for Polish history and for a Polish politics, right? Many things changes, and somehow I had also the feeling that usually the Chopin competition was a feast for everybody, right? Everybody was going to concerts, there was a big discussion, and so, and this time the people were concentrating on some other things, I would say maybe more important, because our life somehow depended on the political situation at this time. Of course, I got many invitations from Polish orchestra, and also for touring with Polish orchestra, Warsaw Philharmonic Orchestra with Kazimierz Kort, who invited me for many concerts in Europe. So we were traveling with the bus from north to south and from west to east. And it was wonderful time because I could learn a lot. I could learn a lot from the conductors with whom I played, and then later I could learn a lot from the composers with whom I was working.
Your mother was well known and incredible singer. I know your first performances were with her. What kind of an impact had your mother on your musical upbringing?
My mother was a very strong personality. And I knew somehow until the Chopin competition, I have to listen to her, because otherwise I will do mistakes. So I trust her, and I did exactly what she told me to do.
Ewa jako malusieńkie dziecko nie wychodziła z pokoju, w którym ja ćwiczyłam. Jak zaczęła troszeczkę dorastać, to zawsze rączki kładła na klawiaturze, zawsze chciałam jej akompaniować. Ale później miała 12 lat, kiedy odważyłam się zaśpiewać z jej towarzyszeniem już publicznie, a w wieku lat 14 wyjechała ze mną na turniej zagraniczny. To nagranie, o którym Pan mówi, pochodzi z 1975 roku. Zresztą ona do dziś bardzo chętnie słucha właśnie tego nagrania.
And also my father, who used to go with me for many concerts when I was young, just to be with me, just to let me feel that I'm not alone, that after the concert I have somebody to go back to hotel to discuss. It was somebody who was with me and I could be myself. And it took actually quite long, even after competition, few times my parents went with me to another city. So I felt comfortable and good. It was necessary for me. They knew me. They knew that I'm sometimes maybe a little bit weak, maybe too much emotional, and somehow they helped me. So my mother was very strong and very demanding, and I remember we were playing this difficult repertoire with really difficult material for the pianist. I really had to practice this, and there also my father was very helpful. He was not a musician, but he loved the music, and he loved my mother, and he learned for her to play piano a few pieces, and he liked just to listen to us how we are practicing. And when my mother was somewhere abroad or she went for some concerts, he used to sit next to me at the piano and he was singing. So it was a help, because for me, when I played this, let's say, easy moments of some Moniuszko or Schubert songs, so I was bored. I was 12, so I was interested maybe a little bit more in let's say, pianistic side of the piano music. And here was just He was just music and text, and he knew very good the German language, so he translated it to me, and it was helpful because immediately when I understood every note, every word of the song, I could practice in a proper tempo. I did it many times in my life. For example, while I was practicing with a singer, and then I went for a tour. And I was touring, and before concerts, I was practicing still the songs, because after the tour, I should play with a singer. So immediately, when I read the text and the translation, the tempo came back to me. So it was very important. So my parents were demanding, but they helped me very much. I had the feeling that I have a house, that I belong to this family, and everything was clear and easy, actually.
Now, staying with your family, we talked about your parents. I would like to talk about your children. I know that you, as a young girl, you performed with your mother, vocal recitals. And I read somewhere that you also right now perform with your daughters as a trio.
Yes.
The tradition lingers on.
So yes, and actually my friends convinced me to do such little group, and it is fun. It's a pleasure. Although I must say it's not easy. When I compare the situation, my mother and me, it was different because she was a queen and I was listening to her. I did what she wanted. I was brave. And now maybe the generation of children now it's a little bit different. And I used to say, when I say yes, both of them say no. So they never agree with me. They wanted to somehow to prove that maybe they are right, not me. So it's sometimes difficult, but the most difficult moment is in the green room where it's only one mirror and we are three ladies and we have to go on stage. So this is something. But there are also things which really we are feeling in the same way. So I don't need to stop to say something, because in the really important moments we feel the same. And it is difficult between people who are not family, who have no the blood connection. But sometimes when it goes about the tempo and the silence, we breathe in the same way, I would say.
So now I would like to welcome Dominik Joder, a first prize winner of the 2018 Kościuszko Foundation Chopin Piano Competition for Young Pianists. Dominik won the first prize in the second age category, and he will perform for us an etude, A minor etude from Opus 25 by Frédéric Chopin. Please. Bravo.
Thank you.
I asked Dominic to prepare a question for you. Did you
Yes.
prepare it?
Yes, I did. I just wanted to ask, if you had a chance, if hypothetically you had a chance to go back into your past before your career started, and you could say one thing, like the most important thing that you wish you could have known, what would it be?
I would say myself, play more etudes.
Say it again?
Play more etudes.
Play more etudes.
Recently, I found a piece of paper from my professor when I went to the high school, and he used to give me always the program for the next year. So there was the Beethoven Sonata Opus 2 number 2. There was some Bach Prelude and Fugue, E flat minor, I think. There was some Chopin. And then with big letters, it was written scales and passages. So it was important. But I was very musical, you know, so everybody asked me to play nocturne or a song without words on some Greek. And so people were crying, and I was successful. But I feel now I could have more power in my fingers. So that I would change, maybe. As I can see, you are playing etudes. How old are you now?
I am 17.
So wonderful. So it's really very important to play not only Chopin but also Debussy etudes and Liszt and Rachmaninoff, of course.
I play a lot of. I learned the whole opus, I think, of Rachmaninoff. So
yes,
I like.
Wonderful. But Liszt is also important. Not to be afraid of the piano. So your fingers are very strong, and you have some idea of this etude. I like it very much. If I may say something, there have been maybe 3 little things I would change a little bit. The first one would be at the beginning, the first phrasing with this repeated E. When you, for me, it has to be with a big tension. And I felt in your performance that you care more about the piano instead of the tension. So it was beautiful piano, but for me it was a little bit too mild. It is a preparation for a firework, right? For the really very powerful etude. So I would not go too much inside of myself. Then there was a place before the passage with left hand, just few bars before, in the middle of the etude. And then play piano and lyric, and it was a little bit joyful. If you have the idea to change something, which is very good, think rather than now I am playing in this room and then I shut the door and the people hear me from outside. But it is the same piece. It is not a different piece. So you cannot, for my opinion, you cannot stay mild suddenly. And then last thing, when you repeat, it can't be the same. Why the composer repeats? Does he want to have more or different or less? And then try to find some idea and convince us with your idea. Playing is in different way. When an actor has a text and he has to say the same 2 words or the same sentence, it can't be repeated. It always has to be different. So this is little advice.
Thank you so much.
But it's really great. Congratulations for your finger.
Thank you.
For your musicality, of course.
Thank you
so much, Dominic. And I'm always amazed that, you know, those kids are still practicing and working hard during this difficult and very uncertain time. When there are no concerts, they don't know if they're going to go back to school, but they're still working and improving, and it's really warming my heart a lot.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Dominic.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. You traveled all around the world. You've played in so many incredible places. However, I read that your favorite place in the world is Gdańsk Oliwa.
Yeah.
And can you tell us why and why you feel so close to that place?
Many people, especially nowadays, that they are living in the place where they can find the work, or they are living somewhere because it's cheaper for them, so maybe it will be easier, or they have to move because of some political reasons. And I'm lucky because I'm still coming to my childhood, to the same place. I was brought up by my parents. I grew up. I learned everything. I learned about the world. I learned as a student. And when I come there, I always do the same walk to the same places, like the same post office. Since 60 few years, the same marketplace, the same little streets with wonderful trees, and it gives me some. I'm stable, you know. I always can come back and feel safe as a child.
Plus, it is a beautiful place.
It is. Yes, it is a beautiful place with a lot of forest and with the Baltic Sea.
Thank you so much. It was such a wonderful conversation. It was so fascinating and inspiring to hear you. Thank you so much for agreeing to this conversation.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for invitation.